It's
Hey,
3 p.m.
how are you?
I'm good, and you? Where are you dialing from?
I'm excellent, thanks. I'm currently in Munich, actually, which is where I'm originally from. So taking a couple of days holiday, and then tomorrow I'm off to Berlin, and then Portugal, and finally back to Stockholm, which is where I'm permanently based.
Oh, wonderful. You're probably the closest mentor to me since I'm in Poland. This is
Yeah.
wonderful. So, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing in life.
Okay, so I started out in hospitality and working in hotels, and came to Dubai in 2004 with Accor, and then went to Qatar for a couple of years with Wyndham, and then eventually came back to Dubai and opened another hotel in Jumeirah Lakes Towers. And around sort of 2011, 2012, I got a bit fed up with all of this, and I started my own company doing initially hotel consulting, and then I quickly realized that one of the areas I'm most passionate about is marketing. So I did my MBA in marketing and innovation, and I then sort of pivoted and became more of a marketing and business consultant, and not just now for hospitality, but what I like to say is like for all businesses that are in service critical environments. So it can be retail, it can be hospitality, uh, anywhere where customers are involved. Mm. And so I've been running my own. Uh, I've been working for myself in that sense for since 2012. I had an agency in Dubai, which I sold when I permanently left Dubai in 2021, and since then I've started a new company in Stockholm, which is the Gluttonous Sloth. That's me, and yeah, so I consult, I train a lot in also in change, innovation, and marketing, and I do this. I still have a lot of clients in the Middle East, a fair few government entities, but also startups and other private companies. And
That's a
yeah,
rich experience, definitely. You have a lot to tell us now.
I hope, I hope.
Okay, so let me proceed with my first question. It's probably my favorite one because it's the most fun. If you could have any superpower for a day, what would it be and how would you use it to advance your field, which is probably marketing?
I mean, obviously, because we're talking marketing in a professional environment here. Uh, One has to pick superpowers that fit into this, right? There's no point in saying I'd like to be able to fly or this type of stuff. So from a professional perspective, I think, and from a marketing perspective, so I think what would be a real superpower to have for a day is if you could spot trends that are coming up in the future, and if you had the ability to see how those trends shape up, right? Because
To
of course,
predict the future, uh-huh.
yeah, not necessarily now. Yeah, just to sort of see in the future, see what trends are coming up, and which of these trends uh, appear to be there for the longer run, and which are just sort of a flash in the pan type of thing.
This is wonderful. A lot of mentors answer, they would like to read people's minds. So you're the first one to be creative here.
Well, I think okay, like you don't, in that sense, in marketing, right? You don't necessarily need to be able to read people's minds because you can observe and you have the data. Now we're all data driven in marketing, right? So you have the data, and that to some extent even makes it unnecessary to read people's minds, right? If you type something into Google, then you're not going to lie to Google because I mean you're searching for something, right? So you're not pretending to be you're not typing like $1 million penthouse Miami Beach into Google if you're not in the market for $1 million penthouse Miami Beach, or at least somehow interested. Now you might put it just to look at them, but me. So by and large, we can go by the data, so we know what customers, what consumers are looking for. What will be more interesting, or where the like really where the skill and where the money is, of course, is if you're the first to spot a trend or a new something new happening, and you capitalize on that, then obviously you're onto a winner, provided that trend isn't just a fad.
This is a great point of view. You're absolutely right. I agree with this 100%. So, the next question to you is, imagine that your marketing campaigns are blockbuster movies. Which genre would it be? And what elements will make it box office hit? Spill us some, one or two marketing secrets.
I thought about this. I found this the trickiest question, actually, because I mean, to be perfectly honest, none of my marketing campaigns have been close to blockbuster hits, nor actually do I want them to be close to blockbuster hits, because
It can be some indie movie, but still a hit.
Yes, so it would definitely fall into the indie movie category, because the type of marketing I do, or I help companies with, is we're not talking mass here, right? So one size does not fit all. And which I feel is generally the way to go these days, right? Because we're all broken down into tribes, broken down into people that belong, or that feel like they belong to a certain niche or a certain group, right? So definitely it'll have to be an indie movie, and I think one of the best examples was from just before COVID, and why I like this example is because it it plays on a common or a misconception, or perhaps there is some truth to it, that a lot of people think that influencers in marketing are actually a little bit useless. Okay? And a lot of business owners, they feel it is difficult to see the return of investment of influencer marketing. So I had a restaurant in Dubai on the Palm, and it was really a very nice restaurant. It was created by a Michelin-starred chef from Europe, and the owner of this restaurant, he got a lot of requests every week, every day from influencers who wanted to come and eat the food for free. Right? And he said, look, it's not that I don't believe in influencer marketing, but this amount of requests is ridiculous. Okay, and a lot of these influencers, they don't even understand anything about the restaurant. They just come for the free food. So what we said is, all right, let's make a campaign where we are inviting influencers to battle it out of who is the most influential influencer in terms of doing things that actually matter to the restaurant, and which is what, bringing people to the restaurant, right? So we created the game, and the main prize was a trip to France, all expenses paid, trip to France, luxury hotel, and a week of curated culinary experiences, meeting with Michelin-starred chefs, eating in like really good restaurants, and then there was a number of other prizes. And that campaign created, if nothing else, a lot of waves and a lot of awareness in the market. Right? So from that perspective, it put the restaurant on the map. Did it also give us an insight, or did it also produce from an influencer perspective? No. I mean, what it actually gave us was really good insights, in the sense that a lot of the influencers that we approached, they were like, no, we're not interested in taking part. And we said, why? No, because we feel that this cannot be measured. Like, what we're doing is marketing, not sales. So my argument was like that these days, with resources being tight and people have to move fast, there is no real difference between marketing and sales. The two have to work together. If you are spending XYZ money on a marketing campaign, there must be a return of investment in terms of something tangible. Okay, and for many of us, that is sales. Right? I mean, you can say, fine, I want to go just for total visibility. I want people to see my brand. But why? Again, in the end, because you want something to happen, which for many of us is sales. So that was very interesting. That a lot of actually like fairly well-known names in the influencer scene in the UAE were just like, nah, don't want to take part in this. Okay? But at the same time, a lot of the smaller influencers, or people that didn't even see themselves as influencers, entered. And again, that showed the power or it showed how marketing or influencer marketing has also shifted over the years. we're not necessarily now looking at the big, like we're not looking at Kim Kardashians or Justin Bieber or this type of stuff. We're looking at people in their niches who have credibility, right? Who are real. And these people actually manage to get more bums on seats in the restaurant than people who build themselves as influencers. Unfortunately, because of COVID, campaign had to be cut short. But that was a fun campaign which did two things: A, it provided useful insights and data, and B, it created awareness and it put the restaurant on the map, even if the end result was not what we planned or what we'd anticipated. Okay. And for me, again, it's one of these things. You shouldn't just look at the results of a campaign, but you have to look at also the campaign. So people should see your campaign, and even if they're not in the market for whatever it is that you're doing right now, or maybe never, they should still feel like this is clever, or this is really this is something that stands out. Okay, even if I never buy a certain car brand, if I see a campaign by this car brand and it sticks in my mind, and somebody mentions there is a conversation about cars, you might say, you know what, I like this campaign a lot. And by mentioning this, somebody else might hear about it and they will check that they would like it. They're in the market for a car. So then they're buying it. Right? So there is the journey is as important as the result.
I agree. About like 20 years ago, marketing was completely different. But now, in order to stand out, we actually need to be creative. And I feel like brands, they need credibility. You know, people need to believe what we are selling. We need to be, you know, in touch with the latest technologies, what everything that is happening in the world. And this is the only way for brands to stand out. So I believe it's hard to measure this, but it works.
Yeah. Obviously, like yes, measurement is sort of one of this is bane of our lives. But again, careful planning, careful putting together of a campaign will allow for multiple measure points. Okay, and these days, with all the data sources and all the tools that we have at our disposal, measuring has also become a lot easier to some extent. The danger I find these days is more that we over measure. Like, right, we measure too many.
Yes, this is exactly the next question that I wanted to ask. What are some main mistakes that businesses make when they try to, you know, improve their marketing efforts?
So yeah, obviously, following on from this, is like one is that they are drowning in data. Right? They have too much data, and they're not looking at the right data. They're not looking at the data that actually makes an impact. They might be looking at the vanity metrics, or they might just be looking at metrics that have no real, that are not applicable for their goals at all. Right? So that's one thing. The other thing is that I find that there is, especially among smaller business owners, but not necessarily only, right? There is a feeling that just because you like your product or service, everybody else would also like it. There isn't a real awareness and struggle how competitive marketplaces really are, and how just by providing a good service or a good product, that is not enough to stand out. And also just by doing a standard campaign, yeah, just let 60,000 people see our message. Something is going to happen as a result. No, it's unlikely that something is going to happen as a result unless that message goes A, to the right people, and B, is the right message for these people, and is crafted in such a way that that it makes people go like, oh, hang on a second. So it makes them think. Right? So it's really not as, in that sense, it's not as easy as it used to be. Okay, and I find a lot of times people say, okay, marketing is just a matter of how much money you put in. Okay? And it's not. Okay? It's not just a matter of how much money you put in. You can achieve really good results with a very low budget if you do it right. Okay, but in order to do it right, you need to have the right data available in your business, and that can come from technology, but it can also come from within your business. Like a lot of businesses are very poor in terms of collecting data points from within the business. So you must have the right data available. must really understand your customers and your clients or your guests or whatever it is. And it's not enough to say, well, everybody in the UAE, right? Because everybody in the UAE is not the same, and also you have to understand that the message cannot be the same for every group of people that they're talking to. Right? Now, your product or service or whatever it is, it might well be applicable to different groups of people, but the message needs to be different. Right? Because you need to speak to me in a way that it makes sense to me. Okay, so it makes sense to that group of people, and that's something that that I find a lot of businesses still struggle.
I feel like a lot of businesses, they're more like product oriented instead of being customer oriented. Yes.
Yeah.
So this leads us to my, my last and most important question. You as a mentor, how can you help organizations, as you were talking about, this aspect of gamification for your business that you will help and, promote, how can you help organization implement this, this kind of innovation to leverage their marketing efforts and make them more efficient at the same time?
So I think, like I think most other mentors, but what was the main job of a mentor is, in my opinion, right, that they provide an independent third party view of your business. And it's very often is the case as an outsider, you can actually see things that as an insider you may not have seen yet, or you may already have been used. You may already be used to. Okay, this is this like we've been doing this like this for the last 25 years. So why should we change it now? Right. So that's one role of me as a mentor, is to really sort of sit with people and say, let's look at this whole process again. Okay, and let's start with the customers. So let's look when the customers up. What is your ideal customer? Because a lot of companies are not even aware of who their ideal customer is. They will say like, okay, even if they're better and they don't say like everybody in the UAE, then they will say, okay, we're looking like at women between like 30 to 45. And they should be into fitness, and they should live in this part of the country. Okay, fair enough. But even if you have that box or that group full of people, some will be more ideal than others. So what's your ideal customer? So for example, in marketing terms, I consult a lot for other consultants. I consult for a lot of other businesses that do like they do websites and they do all sorts of marketing material. And a common misconception there is always that if you come across a website that is really rubbish, okay, that is an easy target. You must contact these people, and it should be easy for you to sell your service. Actually, so they would then define their ideal client as, here's a business that has a really rubbish marketing presence. Okay? And my argument is, no, that is not your ideal client. Why? Because if a business had a really rubbish marketing presence for the last 5 years, it means that whoever runs this business doesn't consider marketing to be super important. And also seeing that the business is still there, maybe marketing doesn't matter to them that much. Right? These are probably also the people who are not going to spend big money on anything. Right? So actually, that's not your ideal client. You should be looking for somebody who already has a very good website, and who needs, for example, a refresh or more content or some new ideas. Right? So one role of a mentor then, or me, a mentor, really sort of to sit people down and say, let's look at your ideal customer, really define your ideal customer. Once we have that, then we can build the rest of the journey, once we know what the ideal customer is like. Because you're going to save time, you're going to save money, and you're going to produce better results. Okay? Because you know that you know who your customers are, you know who you want to target, so you can already discard a lot of the people that technically they would be customers, but they're not the priority. Okay, let's focus first on the priority, where the money is. So once we have that, we're going to go through these steps. How can we make these people that are our ideal customers fall in love with us? Like, how can we really stick out for them? And out of that comes everything else. right? And the interesting thing is that very often this is not a matter of throwing tens and thousands of dollars on, right? But it's just about finding the right channel and finding the right message board, so to say, right? To reach these people at the right time with the right message for the right product or service.
This is true. So much that was actually a very interesting point of view. Thank you so much for this. It was again short but very insightful. So if you're interested to learn more about Martin, you can check his profile in our Gleek website. So again, thank you so much, and I'll see you soon because you're part of our wonderful community.
Right.
So have
Thanks
a good
for
day,
having me on.
Martin.
Yes, thank you. Have a good
Always,
day. Bye.
always. Bye.